So today let us talk about the benefits of starting a private limited company in India. Yes, I'm talking about India because that is the only country where I have a private limited company, but I believe this is also applicable for any other country. Now I want to make this video for those people who are either a freelancer, or they are thinking of doing freelancing, or maybe they are thinking of starting a company and they are just wondering. If you are part of this group and you're wondering whether you should start a company or you should maybe just do freelancing, or maybe if you are thinking of just registering yourself, or maybe you have maybe a couple of friends and you want to do something together. So starting a company, starting a private limited company has a lot of benefits, and I want to talk about those benefits today in this video. Number one benefit is the impression that you want to give to your potential clients. Let us say you want to provide services around Linux, or maybe you want to do something simple like you want to create websites for other people, or maybe you want to do something for someone. It need not to be any IT related work. It can be any work where you want to do some work for other clients. Basically, you want to provide services. In that case, when you approach those clients, when you approach those target customers, they will treat you seriously. They will not think that these are just some group of or maybe these are just friends trying to do something together, and maybe they are not really serious about what they are trying to do. So when choosing the vendor, they might not give you preference because you don't really look professional, and you don't really look stable when it comes to providing any service. And talking about stability, that is my number 2 benefit of starting a private limited company. You want to show to your potential customers that whatever work that you are doing, whatever service that you are trying to provide to your customers, you are very serious about it. And that is why you have a company, you have a private limited company. When you have a private limited company, especially in India, or in fact anywhere in the world, you have to follow some guidelines of the government. You have to follow the tax rules. You have to pay your tax every year. You have to file your accounts. So these are the things that you have to do. And when you have a company, when you have a private limited company, you are saying to your potential customers, your clients, that you are committed in doing the work that you advertise. You're committed in providing high quality services. Now, talking about legality, private limited companies, this is my point number 3, my benefit number 3. Private limited companies are legal entities on their own. They have their own bank account. Especially in India, you have to register. After you register your company, you have to open a current account, and the company is separate from you. So you can be a director. You will have shares in your own company. You will have some capital, but the company itself is a legal entity. So that is also very beneficial. Benefit number 4 is probably one of the most important point here. If you're dealing with clients, if you're dealing with customers, I'm sure you will reach a point where you might have to deal with big companies, big organizations. And big organizations, they almost in every case, they prefer working with a company. They will not deal with freelancers. They will not deal with you directly. you need to have a company. You need to have a private limited company. So when you have a private limited company from the very beginning, you are actually keeping your options open. And also, you don't have to hire like a lot of people to manage your company. You can be just you can just be a two people company. I think you need to have two people in India to have a private limited company. So maybe you can make someone in your family as the second director, or maybe if you have maybe a few friends who are with you and you all are trying to do something together. So you can be the director in your own company, and you can also be the employee in your own company. But when you have a private limited company, and maybe in future when you think about, if you are thinking about growing, it may not be the case for everyone. Not all small companies want to grow or they can grow, which is totally fine. But in case you have plans to grow in future, maybe you want to hire more people, the person who is probably thinking of joining you or will consider joining you will probably rate you more when you have a company in place already. Imagine that you are looking for a job and you want to be assured that your future is secure. So you will prefer joining someone and that someone has a company. So you prefer joining a company, because when you join a company, you will be assured that you will be paying taxes, you will be, of course, following some government guidelines, and there is some sense of security when you join a private limited company, when you have some contract in place. And when you're thinking of starting a company, you don't really have to do a lot of documentation, but it is always good to have some simple documents in place, like maybe if you are hiring more people, give them offer letter. Maybe if you want, you can also create some kind of contract where you can write about these things, some terms, some conditions, or whatever agreement that you may have. And when you do these things, of course, create your own letterhead where you can, of course, just have your logo in place. And of course, you need to have a website, which I believe is very important, because people who are trying to deal with you, they will search for you online. They will look at your website first. They will get a feel of what you're doing, what you have done in the past. And I'll probably talk about these things maybe in a separate video. But all I'm trying to say is that if you have a company, if you have a private limited company, then not only it will give you more opportunities to get more work. It will give you more opportunities to grow in future and also to scale. But also, when you start a company, you want to feel good about whatever work that you're doing. If you don't really have a company, you will probably not take your work seriously, or maybe you will lose motivation. So when you start a company, when you start a private limited company, you are actually committing yourself to your initiative, and you will feel good about whatever work you're doing. Your relatives, your friends, they will also treat you and give you a bit more respect. Not you, but your idea, your initiative, and that is also. I think these small things are really important when you also do things to feel good about whatever work that you're doing, and you want to keep yourself motivated, and you want to make sure that you're always committed to whatever plans you have about your work. There are, of course, some disadvantages of a private limited company, but to be honest, those disadvantages are not really that concerning. If you have to, let us say, close your company, so the procedure is a bit tricky. You need to, of course, hire a CA, and CAs are not always cheap, but I'm sure in India you can find a lot of people who can do your basic stuff like account filing and, of course, managing your books for not a lot of amount. So you have to spend some money, and you have to basically hire someone, especially a CA, for doing this work, these annual bookkeeping and tax filing work. But to be honest, if you're doing some work for other clients, some other companies, you will be earning money. So I think these things are not really that important. If you are thinking of doing something seriously, then I think starting a company really makes sense. And that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.